The year was around 1998. I don't remember much of that time. It was cold outside and generally darker than where the sun don't shine. All I do remember is I was holding the trolley that my mom was pushing for dear life, as I was like less than a meter tall, and out of nowhere my father brought this like grey, slick looking box with an appetizing title that I could not yet understand. The game was of course Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1, and this little weird moment would forever change my life, as this game is the sole reason for my passion for video games. And that is also the main reason why I had to play Death Stranding. To be frank, I was worried when I heard Hideo Kojima was gonna do a solo project. If you have been living under a rock and you don't know what happened, he and Konami basically divorced, and Konami took too much of what they didn't deserve, and that is why we have the abomination Metal Gear Survive. Nevertheless, the biggest factor of Metal Gear's amazing franchise was, the Kojima had a messed up brain that came up with all the lale lula lows, nanobots, foxkill, and what was that noise? But he was not doing this solo. He had a team putting him in check, so he wouldn't do actual crazy insane ideas like a 7-day real-time boss sniper fight in Metal Gear Solid 3. Death Stranding was either a game I would hate or a game I would love, and I knew that from the get-go. But the thing that sold me was the madman himself explaining the idea behind the gameplay, which essentially was, sometimes you just wanna chill my dog, and not stress. Explosions, 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 and bang! Now you're seeing the game for the first time, and I gotta say, I usually don't give a shit about graphics in games, but oh my god, I think it's karma. I've never seen anything like it for the PlayStation 4. It's damn near photorealistic, and I was hurting my brain because I knew Norman Reedus was in it, and I was just waiting for him to stick out like a sore thumb, either looking like Lara Croft with triangle titties, or as the actual dude like in Mortal Kombat. In other words, I was waiting for me to see when something was CGI, but it never happened. Obviously it's just pre-rendered and the actual game isn't as good looking, but it still do look amazing in general. The game takes place in an apocalyptic future where there is ghost people walking on their hands and makes you old if you touch you. Also, they touch rain, so rain makes you old. These creatures are known as BTs, or beach things if you're not hip enough to flow with the lingo yo. And if people die, these BTs gets attracted to the corpse during necrophase, and if they catch someone living and eat them, they make a Tsar Bomba. Also Norman Reedus, or Sam as is preferred to be called this time, is a Doom person. And Doom people have abilities like seeing BTs, teleporting, and all that good shit depending on their Doom level, like fragile but not fragile. She is Doom level something. It's really never said, while Daryl Sam has Doom level 2, which gives him the ability to never die. Which I don't know about you, but I think someone got scammed here, Fragile. More than that lore-wise, I shouldn't elaborate on, because the story is the absolute strongest point of the entire game, and I'll just get dangerously close to the spoiler city. You are tasked to reconnect the United States through the chiral network, which is like, you know, when you had dial-up internet, then went to normal internet, that was big. And you went from normal internet to fiber internet, that was even bigger. The chiral network is basically the next step from FiberNet, except it's run on dead people instead of thin glass. Which means it's PETA certified and environmentally friendly. The whole game is just being a pizza delivery guy. Yes, that is game, friends. The essence of the game is that you being a porter, you can traverse to the great unknown to deliver packages to people who are too scared or can't go out. And if you know me well, which I'd be freaked out if you did, you'd know my biggest pet peeve is games is feeling like Postman Pat, just a delivery boy. So why do I love this game then? I honestly can't explain it. Climbing mountains in different ways and just relaxing on the way was oddly therapeutic. I didn't care for the hologram people. No, I did this for me, not you, me. So take off your Santa hat and don't bother sending me the email. Oh, for fuck's sake, email is flooded again. There is a stamina system in the game, where the more you run or get stressed out, you lose overall stamina, and the only way you can get the stamina back is by sleeping, resting, or drinking Monster Energy trademark. And I know, people hate this, But me being our Kevin reincarnated into a living person, I love it. I sent so many haha totally me XD snaps of monster cans while I said I wish I lived there cause you can make monster out of rainwater. Which is true. It's an utopia, not a dystopia for me. You have to make sure your footwear is in order, because you can't really hobbit style this, so you have to craft some shoes every now and then, or, if you're in a pinch, pick a shoe from the shoe bush. Yeah, that's a thing Hideo put in the game, obviously. If it's a time of the month and you lose blood, just get blood back by eating enlarged water bears. And they are enlarged because Hideo said they were. As you can feel, this review is taking a more odd turn at this point. That's because the game takes an odd turn at this point. It goes from chill and relax to suddenly spears flying at you and you are fighting. When it's over, you think back to the words of Hideo-san saying, "Just relax and not stress, dog." And 1 second later, you are literally fighting a squid whale while it's trying to eat you, and you throw blood at it, screaming the power of Christ compels you till it disappears. Yeah, there is combat mechanic in this game. It's either press square to punch somebody till they get knocked out, or shoot something till it's either dead or gets knocked out. It's kind of, I don't know, a missed opportunity in a way, because when you first walk around a BT with your BB, it's so intense because you're so scared you'll trigger them, so you hold your breath just like in the cutscenes, and if they're running to you, you force gump out of it while crying on the insides. I generally had my beats per minute raised at my first encounter, like a track runner. But then you learn, if they catch you, just throw blood at it and rainbow! With that being said, it has boss battles. Believe it or not, the Domino Simulator has boss battles, and I love it. And one of the boss battles was finally my personal revenge for the flying whale from Again, more than that I can't say because an obvious spoiler alert, but some of them are creative and you need to figure out how to do them in a different way than just reading from the task. Something I haven't mentioned yet, which is actually my strongest addiction to the game, is that it is online. And when you connect your car network, you come online with other people. You know this because the entire map gets pop-ups in a way you haven't seen since you were a 9-year-old and searched boobs on Google for the first time and went to the wrong site. The good thing with this is, the structures get into your world like yours get into theirs. With this knowledge, I started creating roads and zip lines because I got likes, and I knew the true definition of becoming an influencer. Additionally, you can press the torch... the touchpad. Additionally, you can press the touchpad to scream, "Hello!" And if a player is around you, he will scream, "What's up?" And that's about it. Just an awkward silence and somewhat of a Scandinavian social commentary that I'm not ashamed to agree with. But I rarely used it for this purpose, however, because I never meant to be sociable. But I used it for when the music randomly hits and it's all like music video-y or like a movie. So I did it for the same reason why you all out there stare out of the car window with earbuds in your ears as a kid and imagine being in a sad music video. And I say that with pride because the music is an absolute banger and it fits perfectly with the entire game and it adds to the atmosphere. In conclusion, this game surprised me. I thought it was gonna be horrible, and I bought it just because of my childhood love for this insane little chap who made this game. The story is the strongest part of the game as said previously, but unlike the Metal Gear games, this one is easier to comprehend. He ties up everything by the end, and trust me, he ties up everything. I was playing with a time limit and I knew it was the end of the game, so I thought, well, it's finished soon. 1 hour later I joked, it's probably just gonna be 1 more hour, haha. I was wrong, it was 2 more hours of almost just cutscenes. So when you play this game and you're at what you feel like it's the end, make sure you have an extra 2 or 3 hours to spare. The final rating will be as followed by this clip. a solid 8 out of 10.